Coming up on Torrance Today, the community gathers to honor our fallen members of the military. The Torrance Art Museum unveils its latest summer exhibits, and a Baroque chamber orchestra takes center stage and unveils music we may never hear again. All this and more coming up right now on Torrance Today. Welcome to Torrance Today. I'm Kirk Lyons. It's 4 p.m. on Tuesday, May 30th. I hope you're having a great day so far. Thank you so much for joining us. Here's our first story. Yesterday, on Memorial Day, an audience of city residents gathered at our Veterans Memorial to pay tribute to those who served and those who gave all. The event, hosted by the Torrance Historical Society and the city, honors the 146 military personnel by reading each name out loud.
Gregory Simonian. William Sleeth. It means a lot to me because I suffer from survivor's guilt. I always wonder why I made it and so many didn't. I mean, 58,200 died in the war I went to over 10 years. And why am I here? I don't know, but I can tell you that it'll be my job to never let this country forget those who died in wars.
Kenneth Brooks. Clint Brown.
What we're trying to do at the Torrance Historical Society is put faces behind those names on that wall. Meaning we put together biographies, we get stories from their relatives, and we put it all together and put it in the archives so that if somebody wants to come and look up grandfather, they can do it.
Matthew Ferrara. John Fess, Jr.
Matthew Ferrara, I'm familiar with him because one of his younger brothers was deployed in Afghanistan at the same time that I was. So that name, and I remember seeing that in the newspaper when he was killed in Afghanistan, and that's where I served as well.
John Reynolds. Robert Richardson.
It's exactly what we anticipate by holding this event. A small, intimate crowd where we just read the names. We pay tribute and honor and thanks to those that served prior to us and unfortunately didn't make it back home. So we call them our Torrance heroes.
The wall is located on the corner of Torrance Boulevard and Maple Avenue, standing 5 feet tall and 12 feet long. You can watch the entire Memorial Day event on our Facebook page and on City Cable's YouTube channel. Historical Society researchers are about halfway through matching stories with the names on the wall, and they need more volunteers to help them continue this important work. To volunteer, call the Torrance Historical Society and Museum at 310-328-5392. The Torrance Art Museum unveiled its newest exhibits over the weekend.
We have our Baker's Dozen show where the curators, Max and Sune, select 13 artistic practices from LA County, Southern California that really caused an impact with them. We have in Gallery 2 the Lori Lipton drawings. She does work that is almost like a painting, but it's actually, as the title suggests, drawings.
The living legend, Lori Lipton. It is the most beautiful commentary on society mashed with technical skill and innovation that I've seen since the Renaissance.
I'm very happy to be included in the show and to have the opportunity to get the work out and to show amongst so many other talented artists.
I just loved being here at the museum, that you can feel as part of a community. It's really great to experience that.
The exhibitions will be on view through Saturday, June 17th. The Torrance Art Museum is currently accepting applications for volunteers and has an open call for SoCal visual artists. For more information, visit torranceartmuseum.com. The Torrance Refining Company sponsored a couple of free community concerts last week, organized by a nonprofit that supports world-renowned artists.
We have a phenomenal group of musicians. Yes, they're young, but they come from some of the finest music conservatories throughout the United States. But they congregate to perform with this particular group for the sort of chamber music that we play that they cannot basically perform anywhere else. It also has an emotional nexus to it that people can really attach to, and we want to be able to really tap into the subconscious of the concert goer in a way that is profound, and we feel that we're able to deliver on that promise of making people walk out of here appreciating music, and classical music in particular.
It's well known that STEAM and arts are connected. So music specifically relates with math, and so we're hoping that this is an opportunity to enrich STEAM education as well as enjoy a wonderful evening of music.
I think classical music just brings out a different emotion and feeling in us. So I think this is very good for City of Torrance.
The Contrapunctus Baroque Chamber Orchestra performed The Begotten Son, a show commemorating the music of Carl Philipp Emanuel Bach, the son of Johann Sebastian Bach. Jacob says his music is influential but not often performed in the United States, making the show both exhilarating and unique. The two shows took place at Cal State Dominguez Hills and El Camino College. Lane closures continue all week in North Torrance along a stretch of Van Ness Avenue by Del Amo Boulevard. Construction of a new 3.5-mile long water transmission main began 1 year ago and is scheduled to be completed this summer. To stay on top of this and other projects, go to torranceca.gov/traffic impacts. District community meetings are back this year, giving residents an opportunity to meet with their mayor and council members. The first gathering takes place this Thursday, June 1st, from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Bartlett Senior Center with council member Sharon Kalani. Attendees can get overviews on the finance budget, public works projects, and more. The Bartlett Senior Center is located at 1318 Cravens Avenue. City workers are taking proactive measures to hold catalytic converter thieves accountable. Catalytic converter theft has been a growing problem in both Torrance and nationwide over the years, and the City Council approved an ordinance last week taking a big step in providing a solution.
There are individuals who target certain vehicles for the purpose of stealing catalytic converters. They tend to take those devices, extract the precious metals out of those devices to make an illegal profit. But we've come to a point now where we've been able to propose a new ordinance that'll help with the prosecution of anybody unlawfully in possession of catalytic converters. There is no law prior to this draft that helps law enforcement agencies and cities to address people who are simply in possession of catalytic converters.
City leaders expect to have a second and final reading of Ordinance 3917 at the next City Council meeting, which is scheduled for Tuesday, June 6th. If adopted, the ordinance should take effect in early July. Meanwhile, Lieutenant Harris thanks the community for continuing to say something when they see something and urges residents to call 310-328-3456 if they see a suspected catalytic converter theft taking place in their neighborhood. Police also offer a few tips. Park in well-lit areas or in a garage if possible. In parking lots, park near the entrance of a building or where there's a lot of traffic. Have a local muffler shop secure the converter to the car's frame. And consider picking up a catalytic converter theft deterrent system. Congresswoman Maxine Waters visited members of the South Bay Workforce Investment Board recently with a huge check. Congresswoman Waters presented the board with $500,000 to give 75 people job training and support so they can become ready-to-hire candidates for employers in the transportation, highway, and transit industry. This program targets recruiting and training women, minorities, dislocated workers, and others with barriers to employment but are interested in entering the construction and transportation industries. And speaking of transportation, May is National Bike Safety Month, and a local bike shop held a class dedicated to making sure all bicyclists are safe on our roadways. Torrance Bikes recently held an event at Tally Ho Apartments near Emerald Street and Hawthorne Boulevard, where master mechanics provided bicycle and e-bike safety lessons. The new small business hopes to promote the use of bikes and e-bikes as both a climate-friendly and cost-effective form of travel. Still ahead, it's Take Care Tuesday, and kids get a head start to summer with a water safety class at the Plunge when we come back in 60 seconds. At the end of every episode of Torrance Today, we want to share a positive story that fits the theme for the day. This Take Care Tuesday falls during National Water Safety Month, and the city just held its first Water Safety Day event at the Plunge to get kids ready for summer.
One thing that I learned about today in the event was how water safety to save someone if they're drowning or if they're hurt in the water. And they just taught us several ways we could save someone if that possibly happens.
It was pretty fun. I liked all that activity.
It's important for kids and parents to be aware of the fact that people need to sign up for swim lessons. The water is a great place to come and play and hang out with your family, but they also need to be aware of the dangers. Adults are going to be able to practice hands-only CPR along with some swim assists on the pool deck. We also have Bubbles the Bunny, which is our pool mascot, coming out and taking pictures.
Brueño says it's important for kids to know they always need to swim with an adult and near a lifeguard while at the beach. Kids also learned about the importance of using sunblock and staying hydrated. As we close out our show during Military Appreciation Month, we're saying thank you to our local heroes. Today, we salute retired Air Force Reserves Colonel and current Congressman Ted Lieu. He sent us a statement today saying, quote, "I'm proud to live in Torrance and honored to have served on the Torrance City Council. Now, as a member of Congress and an Air Force veteran, I'm chair of the Congressional Asian Pacific American Caucus's Veterans and Armed Forces Task Force. This task force promotes the well-being of all veterans and service members, including those of Asian descent, through legislation in Congress. This month, we also observed Memorial Day as well as Asian Pacific Islander Heritage Month. My hero is Ted Tanaway of Torrance. He fought for America at a time when our own government forcibly interned Japanese Americans. He earned the Congressional Medal of Honor for his heroic actions in World War II, and the City of Torrance has a memorial in his memory. It's a privilege and an honor to advocate for veterans from all over the country, including from my hometown of Torrance in Congress. Thank you, Congressman Ted Lieu, for your service. Do you know someone in our city that we can honor in this way? Please send us a name, a picture, and a little information about them to Torrance Today at torranceca.gov. Well, that's our show for today. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you back here tomorrow with more news from and for our Torrance community. Have a good evening.